Good evening وكل عام وانتم بألف خير. His Majesty the King received cables of good wishes from leaders of Arab and Islamic countries on the occasion of Eid al-Fitr. The leaders wished His Majesty continued good health and happiness and the Jordanian people further progress and prosperity. The King received similar cables from the Prime Minister, the Acting Senate President, President of the Judicial Council, Royal Court Chief, as well as other senior civil and military officials. His Royal Prince Al-Hussein received similar cables from senior civil and military officials. His Royal Highness Prince Faisal bin Hussein, the Regent, performed Eid al-Fitr prayers at a Royal Guard mosque in Amman. Prince Faisal and the worshippers listened to the Eid sermon, which was delivered by Dr. Umar bin Yassin, in which he spoke about the occasion, which marks the end of the fasting month of Ramadan. Bani Yassin stressed the importance of continuing the good deeds which Muslims perform during the holy month of Ramadan. The prayer was also performed by a number of princes and Secretary General of the Royal Court. Thousands of Jordanians performed Eid al-Fitr prayer at the Amman Sports City early today. Minister of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs Wa'il Arabiyat delivered the sermon in which he spoke about fasting and how Eid al-Fitr serves as a culmination of the worshippers' efforts to mark the end of the fasting month. He also affirmed that Jordanians are always united while noting Jordan's security and stability. A Syrian rebel alliance agreed to a 3-day countrywide ceasefire announced by the Syrian army. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry expressed hope that a more significant truce could be achieved, although fighting and air attacks continued. The truce is the first to be declared across the whole country since the one brokered by foreign powers in February to facilitate talks to end the 5-year-old civil war has mostly unraveled. But a rebel group and a war monitor said little had actually changed on the ground. The Free Syrian Army Rebel Alliance later said it would respect the Eid holiday ceasefire, but only if government forces also abided by it. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said government and allied forces had taken almost complete control of Maida and that fighting continued. The observatory also said there had been rebel and government shelling in areas around the northern Syrian city of Aleppo, and airstrikes had hit towns in the northern Aleppo countryside. Britain's former Prime Minister Tony Blair said he felt sorrow and regret over the Iraq war, but defended his decision to join the US-led invasion of Iraq in 2003. Blair was responding to severe criticism of him in the report of a 7-year-old inquiry into the war, which was published earlier today. Blair said he accepted full responsibility for the decision to go to war, but rejected the argument that terrorism today stemmed from the invasion of Iraq. He also said he believed the world was a better place without Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein, who was toppled by the invasion.
Now, the inquiry claims that military action was not a last resort, though it also says it might have been necessary later. With respect, I didn't have the option of that delay. I had to decide. I thought of Saddam, his record, the character of his regime. I thought of our alliance with America, and it's important to us in the post-9/11 world, and I weighed it carefully. I took this decision with the heaviest of hearts.
A suicide bomb assault on a military base in Aden killed at least 6 Yemeni troops and around 20 militants. Security sources said the assault began when 2 suicide bombers blew up their cars, followed by armed militants storming the Soliban base. They occupied several buildings but were killed after 4 hours of heavy gun battles. There was no immediate claim of responsibility, but Daesh carried out a similar large-scale attack in the southern port of Muqalla on June 27th. The United States has criticized Israeli plans to build hundreds of new homes in existing Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem. State Department spokesman John Kirby called the plans the latest step in a systematic process of land seizures. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said he was deeply disappointed by the Israeli government's decision. The International Quartet of Middle East Peace Mediators also recently criticized settlement construction. About 570,000 Israelis live in more than 100 settlements built since Israel's 1967 occupation of the West Bank and East Jerusalem. The settlements are considered illegal under international law, though Israel disputes this. And finally, moderate weather conditions are expected to prevail in the hilly areas, while it will be relatively hot in the Jordan Valley and the Gulf of Aqaba. Similar weather conditions are expected to continue over the coming few days. Winds will be northwesterly moderate to brisk, stirring dust in the Badia regions. Temperatures in Amman for the coming 3 days are expected to reach a high of 32 degrees Celsius and a low of 20. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Nancy Khair. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.